Marner or bust? Next on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone, from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. I am a veteran sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the new Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris, a longtime VGK season ticket holder. He is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, we have our major topic today, Marner or bust. We'll talk about that. Olympians announced, and we'll get into that. And congrats to Jack Eichel and to Jonas Ronbjorg. Doesn't even get his own artwork. And locks of the Stanley Cup Final game number 6. So the more that I break down analytics, Chris, the more that I look into what it would mean for VGK to add Mitch Marner to the top 6, the more I'm making a strong case for why the Golden Knights have to sign Mitch Marner. They have to. This is a seminal moment for VGK. They have to. A seminal moment for VGK, for this organization. I really do believe so. Marner's a superstar. Marner can score. Marner can sell tickets. To me, it's Mitch Marner or bust. They have to. Everyone in the Pacific Division is going to get better. And what if Marner goes to the Kings or Anaheim, and then things really get tough here in the Pacific Division, and they cannot afford to add more depth pieces? They need a superstar. And again, it is Mitch Marner or bust. Do you think I made my case?
I think so. I mean, I like the tweet you put out earlier, and this is basically a response to that. You're talking about, you compared it to the Jack Eichel signing, and basically, are the Golden Knights going to keep their core in place, keep Nicholas Ivan Barbashev, Zach Whitecloud, and then maybe go for a couple complementary pieces? You can keep Zach, even keep Nicholas Hague. All of a sudden, now we're looking at the same roster. Maybe Brandon Saad is gone. Riley Smith gets signed, and maybe there's one roster spot out there for, $2, $3, $4 million out there. You scroll on the AFP Analytics website, $3-4 million isn't going to get you a whole lot. So it didn't work this year. This was a very good regular season Golden Knights team of a lot of great storylines. Mark Stone, healthiest season in a while. Aiden Hill, healthiest season in forever. You look at what Brett Howden did. You look at Dorofeev. You look at all the goals that got replaced internally, despite the exits. Primarily, you have Jonathan Marchessault and Chandler Stevenson. But it didn't work in the playoffs. Could these players step up and be better in the playoffs? Maybe. But you look at the fact that this is an aging roster. You look at the ages of players such as Mark Stone, 33 years old, 2 more years on his contract. Tomas Hertl, 31, 5 more years. See how that plays out. William Karlsson, 32, 2 more years. Barbashev, that's where it starts to kind of get younger. On the defensive side, Pietrangelo, a major question mark. 2 more years left. Braden McNam's a little bit older, so you got a chance to get a little younger, get a superstar. And I do look at this as a possible franchise-altering signing should it happen, whether it's 4 years, 6 years, or 8 years.
It has to. And even if it's 4 years, do it. All the chips
is great.
Go to the middle. Like, they really have to go all in.
In 2029, the team can rebuild. Josh can finally say he was right.
Okay, so how about these numbers? Yes, 102 points. We know that. But playing alongside Jack Eichel, they both are 100-point plus scorers. There were 23 multi-point games, 23 for Mitch Marner this past season. And he only had 12 games of 81 that he played in, Chris, in which he was held without any points. So this guy consistently will be a scorer. And again, if Bruce Cassidy, we don't know the new design of this offense, but if Cassidy wants him to go to the net, you have 2 players, superstars on that top line, and it's heavily weighted for VGK. Edmonton's coming. they'll be perhaps at the top of the Pacific Division. Anaheim perhaps will grow a little bit here. The LA Kings you have to watch out for.
Anaheim already has grown.
Yeah, and VGK could be left more or less going, oh yeah, we feel like we've got a great team, but it's all a team of depth pieces. There's no one else they can sign, folks, other than Mitch Marner right now. They have to get this done.
You don't want to put lucky before the carriage necessarily, but I don't know if I put Marner on that top line. I think you have a heck of a 1-2 punch. Should you go Jack on the top line, and should you go Marner on the second line?
Hurdle will slow him down.
Okay, well,
Hurdle
can win the faceoff and get everything started, and you put Dorofeev over there. All of a sudden, that's a pretty solid second line with scorers and passers. I mean, that second line would probably be the first line, honestly. And then now you figure out, I mean, Jack and Mark, I think, should stay together, whether it's Barbashev, whether there's a new player that takes that role. Who knows exactly how that shakes out on that top line, but you attack in waves. That's very difficult to stop in the regular season. And then you do have the hero line, like the Oilers, when they need something to happen. They put Draisaitl and McDavid together. Same thing in Vegas. You toss Marner and Jack out there on the same line when you need something.
And they'll be together on the power play, PP1.
Power play, obviously.
Oh my
goodness.
Goodness.
Think about the forwards of, Marner, Eichel, and Dorofeev with Theodore at the quarterback position and Mark Stone there in the bumper, or Hurdle in the bumper, either one.
My goodness.
And all of a sudden that's a pretty lethal.
It's okay to dream. It's okay to dream.
No, I don't think it's a dream, though. I mean, everything we're seeing out there, Elliot Friedman every day has basically tweeted something about Vegas or Marner going west, and Marner's, Vegas is the team to watch. Vegas is going to be in on him and everything. And, if Marner wants to compete for a cup, this seems to be the most cup-ready situation. Carolina, okay, fine, but Carolina hasn't gotten over the hump, and if you look at their history, well, they can't get there. They got one win in the last 4 decades in the third round. It feels like in the conference final. LA, I mean, if he wants the glitz and glamour, but that team is aging worse than the Vegas Golden Knights. Looking at Drew Doughty and Anze Kopitar, a lot of good young talent there, but in the same breath, that team hasn't gotten out of the first round in God knows how long.
Yeah.
Anaheim, if he wants to wait 3 or 4 years to be on a cup contender, same for Chicago. Marner's got an ego. I heard this on the NHL Network. Marner's got an ego. He wants to win now, and he wants, a share of the spotlight. Well, Vegas offers that opportunity, and might be kind of fun watching Jack and Mitch Marner push each other for points, for playing time, for attention, whatever those two might need. It could be a little healthy competition.
Oh, I think it would be a great competition. And Marner is supposedly going to be meeting teams starting July the 1st. They say that he will be also meeting with Toronto. I think that is just, a courtesy deal. If he does venture out of Toronto and goes on the road, I think Bill Foley, VGK, LVCVA, all of these initials here all need to get together and put together a heck of a package.
LVCL, they got plenty of money for athletes in this town.
That's right.
Plenty of money.
And maybe give Marner the same suite that Bill Foley gives to the NHL refs. Oh, that was a bad one. But yeah, with a little upgrade there. But you have to believe that if he does make that tour, you have to pull out every single stop here. The drumbots at the airport, the cheerleaders, the showgirls, everyone, dignitaries, everyone has to go all in. I really do feel, and I said it earlier, that this is a seminal moment for this organization, and they just can't mess it up. They really have got to get it done, even if it means maybe putting both Pietrangelo and Stone on LTIR.
Nikolai Ehlers is another name you see, and I was going back with a couple people on Twitter today.
Paterka, like they're good.
Paterka, fine, but
they're
Ehlers,
not Marner.
Ehlers for $9 million. No, that's what I'm saying. Ehlers is Jonathan Marchessault. He's 50, 60 points. But Marchessault costs $5 million. Barbashev, same output, costs $5 million. Why Ehlers for $9 million? Well, he just needs a shot. Someone said to get off that third line and get some minutes. I don't know about that. So I'm with you. Marner or bust. And if Pietrangelo is on LTIR for the year or his career at this point, makes it a heck of a lot easier too.
And the latest news too from Toronto on Monday was that Marner canceled his charity event slated for July 10th and 11th. Bring that here. I think Jack Eichel, Riley Smith, if he's still with the team next year, I think they'll gladly give up the softball rights and maybe do a different deal. Coming up next, the first 6 players for each Olympic team were named on Monday. Jack Eichel will be representing the U.S. of A. We'll tell you more about it after this on this edition at night of Locked On Golden Knights. If you are looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious, well, you need to crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios, the highest protein nut. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, and it gives you over 10% of the daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for a lot longer time. And Chris and I in agreement on one thing. We both really do like the no shells variety, the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. We are both always on the run, whether Chris is at his desk or me on a road trip around this city, which traffic is crazy. So I definitely need to bring my wonderful pistachio nuts with me and the little green wonders, we like to call them at times. And if you like the ones with the shells, you get that satisfying crack of opening each shell. It's like snack mediation. Get snackin', get crackin' Vegas with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Again, get crackin'. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com.
Nice emphasis on the crack right there. That was good. That was
crackin'. They have to sign. They have to. We
Wonderful
appreciate
Pistachios. Put some money up for that too, you think?
They'll get cracking. Vegas VGK needs to get cracking too. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. We're doing our nighttime edition, our Monday, Tuesday edition. And so our predictions were okay. We went last week. We wanted to get a leg up on everyone else that forgot that they were going to be naming all these Olympians. So we were okay with our picks, who would be named to the first 6 list. We were both right on the shoe-in. Jack Eichel, he gets his own graphic. Jonas Rondbjerg does not. I said 1, Tkachuk. That's how Gretzky says their names. I said 1 would be named Matthew. Both were. You said Brady would also be first 6, so you were correct about that. You said Carlson would be named first 6 for Team Sweden, but he was not.
No, that's... Yeah, I mean, looking at the roster for Sweden, I think that's actually pretty fair.
Okay. I said Jonas Rondbjerg would. He would make Team Denmark. The 6'2" lefty. He can't hit the net for the life of him when he plays for VGK, but internationally, he's done pretty well. 22 games in the World Juniors, Chris. I think 15 games I saw where he played in 18 unders as well. So he's an international player. Will that someday translate to him being on this team daily for VGK?
No. I mean,
he
listen,
it's so sad.
I mean, listen, he's a career AHL player that has the upside to help a team when they need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean he's a bad player or anything like that. It just means he's not ready to make that jump to the National Hockey League. And maybe in a couple of years he will. Maybe this year he will. You never know. Maybe all he needs is a shot, Tony. Maybe he needs to be somewhere, a San Jose, a Buffalo, where they might have room to make him an everyday 3rd or 4th liner and see what he can bring to the table. He has had some good pockets of play here. And looking at some other former VGK players that did go to the first 6, Tomas Tatar, there you go, New Jersey
What
Devils.
about Pierre Bellemare?
Pierre-Edouard Bellemare is going to be, I believe, the captain, if I'm not mistaken.
Of which team again? Which team is
France. I'm not sure if he's named the captain or not, but
that's
definitely
phenomenal.
a good chance.
Is he playing in the league anymore even?
He was Colorado recently
but I thought,
in Seattle, I think. I can look that up in a little bit.
I'm just curious. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Teddy Bluger, Latvia. There we go.
I missed Bluger. I missed that one. That's tremendous.
And here's where this is going to get interesting here. The exhibition tournament, the 4 Nations, That was only 4 teams, 4 nations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 teams. There we go. Okay. For the Olympics, we got 12 countries, Tony.
12
We
countries,
have
yeah.
a lot of NHL players representing 3 times as many of the countries here. So what happens coming out? I'm real curious to see what the schedule looks like coming out of the 4 nations, if teams are going to be coming on back-to-backs and stuff like that. If they schedule teams that don't have as many players, I don't know.
Boy. VGK and Florida. They wanted them to meet in the final. Remember, coming out of 4 nations, what was it, 7 straight home games for each one of those teams?
They got late
That
too,
was
but
so
that was
rigged.
more just a result
That was
of
absolutely the most rigged thing ever. That was
There we
crazy.
go.
So, Team USA, no Tage Thompson. He better be on this roster.
that would be a
Yeah,
shock if he's not.
you have the Tkachuk brothers. I can't stop saying that. The Tkachuk brothers. You have Eichel, Austin Matthews, Quinn Hughes, and Charlie McAvoy. So hopefully, what did he lose? His spleen or something? Whatever. I don't know what that body part was.
That was
but
done.
it was pretty scary.
Bellemare was actually in the Swiss League last year. He played 40 games for the Kraken in 23-24.
Yeah, I thought he was out of the league. I
Yeah,
didn't
but I
remember
mean,
seeing him this season.
40 games, he was a +4, 7 points. I mean,
Good for him.
in a fourth line penalty killer type of role, you would think he could find work in the NHL. Now, maybe he just doesn't want to be in the NHL. Maybe he wanted to go, play for his home country. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. It'd be interesting to
he
know.
was a free agent. I remember that. And
Yeah, and I wonder why he only played 40 games. Was there an injury? Did he maybe go back home to play for a season?
I think there was I thought there was an injury, to be quite honest with you. And then he couldn't latch on with anyone. But this would be a good opportunity. But he's also aging, right? He's got to be 32, 33-ish.
40 years old, Tony. March 6, 1985. He's 40. Wow, I didn't know
40?
that.
No.
Well, that explains enough right there.
All right, strike that from the record.
That conversation.
I didn't think he was. I thought he was younger.
I was about to put Bellemare back on the Golden Knights along with Jonathan Taves.
He was one of the best guys, though, here in Vegas.
100%.
Guys.
100%.
The first team for Canada, no Mark Stone, no Pietrangelo. He's already on LTIR. So they have Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Connor McDavid. Braden Point, I thought, was a little bit of a surprise, although he played very well in 4 Nations, and Sam Reinhart.
Yeah, there's Mark Stone or Shea Theodore are not bumping, or Ian Hill for that matter, are not bumping any of these fellas off. I mean, let's be
but the rest of the team, keep in mind, though, the rest of the teams will be named in December. And, hey, like if some of these players aren't having a good season, these guys are the locks, right? Whether they have a good early part of the season up until December or not, they're the locks. But there's going to be some good competitions. Some players that we think should be named to rosters might not if they're off to a slow start. I believe that.
Each of these teams also have 5 or 6 or 7 more locks, too, starting with Canada. Mark Stone and Shea Theodore. Mark Stone health pending, of course, but they're locks to be on the roster. I think Aiden Hill is possibly.
You think Stone's a lock?
I think
Stone's a lock?
I think
why?
Experience, leadership.
Okay.
The fact that he's just a great two-way player, something you're going to need in this international competition and things like that.
Shea Theodore, a lock?
Theodore's a lock, 100%. Okay. He's a lock.
And they'll just name them later.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden Hill, I think, is a lock, too. I mean, it's not a very deep.
I think that, sorry to interrupt.
You're good, dude. Good.
I think the Denmark team had only 5 players. I think that they have a shortage of players. Sorry.
No, there's 6. Ehlers, Freddie Anderson, Lars Eller, Bjorkstrand, Ronbjerg, and Jesper Jensen.
Okay, I thought one of the teams had just 5 players named when you can name 6. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe I can scroll through here. I don't see 5.
It's okay.
I don't see 5. Well, no, you got my attention. No, it looks like they all got a full 6.
Okay.
No one's holding open tryouts for the Olympics, Tony, as much as you'd like. I mean, listen, the competition is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, the concern is how these teams look, how these players look coming out of the Olympics. Hopefully it doesn't slow down anything. And,
it'll be fine. 7 to 10 straight home games for VGK. All will be good.
It's a much equaler situation because you have triple the amount of countries instead of 4. So all the teams will have a little more fatigue issues to sweat coming out of this.
Remember, Edmonton had a really tough road swing coming out.
They were back to back. They played Saturday, Sunday right off. They got crushed both games.
They got crushed. Coming up next, speaking of
Edmonton, like a
Stanley
friggin' wonderful pistachio with the shell. It got crushed.
Coming up next, the Stanley Cup will be in the building. Will the Florida Panthers be the team passing it around after the game, or will Edmonton have an upper hand here, tie the series, go back home for Game 7? We'll get to it next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Why do we always go off the rails when we do this show at night? No idea. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And for the first time in like several months, I had the intern post on Instagram for us. So at Locked On VGK, check it out.
There's some news too, apparently.
Yeah, we need to start putting more content.
Well, your intern can handle Instagram. My intern will handle Twitter.
Okay. Closeout game for the Panthers. What does Edmonton have in store? How do they send this series back to Canada? That is the big question. Well, number one, they're going to need more out of, and you hate to say this because he gives it his all every night, but Connor McDavid needs to score goals in this game. That's how you do it. Stay out of the penalty box too, for crying out loud. First game where there were no power play goals in this series, but they already had given up 10 on both sides combined. But again, and then you need to play good defense if you're Edmonton in front of whomever that goaltender might be. We still don't know. They're going to wait till the last minute. We'll find out at morning skate on Tuesday.
I'll make a prediction. They'll probably have both goalies leave the ice at the same time for a little bit of mystery. Well, you see that happen before. VGK has done that back in the Leonard Fleury era. Other teams have done that in the past. I mean, they know it's going to happen, but they just, add a little layer of fun, I guess you can call it right there. I think it's Pickard. I mean, I don't know at this point, but I don't know how you go back to Skinner at this point. But
really,
honestly,
I'm going to say Skinner. I'm going to say Skinner. I just
listen. And this is the problem. You don't have a goalie in Edmonton, and you really don't see a lot of teams that utilize any type of tandem, whether it's forced or, a situation when, let's just pretend the Golden Knights still had Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson going up and back with the goalies. You don't see that. And, if you have two goalies, you have no goalies, right? That's probably another way to look at it too. So it's a tough spot when your team is one win from elimination and 2 wins from winning the Stanley Cup, not knowing who gets the keys to the car. And this is also a chance for the general manager, just to that Bowman, to really reassess that position. I mean, you have best players in the world, best player and Draisaitl cemented in the top 4, probably as far as best players in the world currently. And they've been together dating back to 15-16. And now at least they have a second trip to the Stanley Cup Final, hopefully in my opinion, a Stanley Cup victory coming up here. But you can't waste this moment, Edmonton. You just cannot waste this moment here. And you wonder what does happen should Edmonton lose tomorrow, tonight, I guess you can say, 5-1, and goalie A and goalie B and the other guy all have bad games. That's a real sour taste in the mouth of the Oilers fans. Or
another long off season.
Yeah, I mean, can the Oilers keep it? I think Oilers win if it goes under, Panthers win if it goes over.
This is here's a stat for your team that wins Game 5 wins the Cup 73% of the time. Will we see Vitek Vanacek again chirping out there? Did you see the video?
I think they're actually having fun with each other by the way they do it. But go ahead.
No, they gave him the game puck after the game.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah, and so he put it up on the board there for the wins. They have all the wins. They put a puck up there. They just need one more. But because of his chirps, he was like the MVP. They thought it was great. He was like, okay, fellas, let's win next game. Great. It was
Oh my
funny.
God, I didn't see that. That's friggin' priceless. God, I love
It's
that.
priceless.
No, but the last
Matthew,
time though, you had
yeah, go.
Skinner there, you had Vanacek get there face to face. Then Pickard came in there, and Pickard said some, and it looked like Vanacek was talking back. And then Pickard actually like gave him a friendly keyword tap on
A
the
little
shin
whack.
pad right there.
Yeah, a
So
little whack.
like I think there's I don't know if they know each other outside of this, and if it's just a fun type of thing for them. I don't know. I mean, granted,
No,
this
I don't
maybe
think
isn't the
so.
time, but all of this brings something up, Tony. Remember, Game 5, Golden Knights, Washington Capitals, 2018 Stanley Cup Final. Pregame, Ovechkin skates to Marc-Andre Fleury. Fleury is on his half of the ice in the referee's crease. And actually, no, he was on the other side in front of where
The
the
other side.
broadcaster would go, and just tapped him on the shin guard.
Yeah.
Fleury gets up, he starts chasing him. He's
He wanted
pissed.
to fight him.
He was ready to do something, and then Fleury times it like the Hanson brothers when they're doing their pregame and the brawl breaks out, and he just chops Ovi right on the shin pad. And
Oh,
Ovechkin's just laughing. He was
laughing,
cracking
right?
up, and I think Fleury probably thought it was funny too.
Yeah.
But in this big moment here,
Later on, he thought it was funny.
I don't know if I want these shenanigans happening when my team is not possibly, but my team is on the cusp of being eliminated or on the cusp of winning a Stanley Cup. Like, get your head right and avoid the backup goalie in warmups. What the heck are we doing here?
Matthew Tkachuk, I was going to say, told the media on Monday that he was still hurt in the Tampa series. He's fought through injuries this entire series, says he feels a little bit better.
Four nations.
It goes back to Four Nations, for crying out loud.
Yep.
And we're going to see that residual effect after the Olympic Games again. Although there's no fighting, right, in the Olympic Games? How are my Italians going to win if we can't like play dirty?
That's pretty fair. I don't know. I mean, I assume there's no fighting, but I'm sure a lot of fisticuffs after the whistles and everything. And I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't let them fight, but it's Olympics. I get it. So maybe that's just I don't know. I mean, you kind of the credibility goes out the window with the Olympics when you start sending professional athletes in the first place, but that's another show for another time, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're not going to see teams. I guess this maybe eliminate. Although Tom Wilson was someone that would have been a really good fit in the Olympics last year, and you wonder if he'll get in this year. I don't know. I don't know. It'll be
H. Thompson had better get in. That's all I could say. Did you see? So they mic'd up Matthew Tkachuk the other night, and on that Marchand goal, did you hear him? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! He was just oozing there. What a fit, Marchand has become there, and you need.
How do they not extend him after this?
Well, they're going to try to, yeah. And there's also talk of Marchand maybe back to Boston. I think right now, he feels very comfortable.
Oh, I think he wants to compete for a cup.
I think he wants to play there. And yeah, but his move there the other night was just phenomenal. And they're going to need to keep him away from the net. Someone needs to mark him and skate around the ice with him, a la Jack Eichel, what he did in the series against Edmonton.
Leon Draisaitl, what he did in the series against Jack Eichel.
Yeah, Draisaitl played phenomenally too. Yeah.
There was some kind of below the radar Marchand to Vegas type stuff happening around the deadline, whether that was even close to happening, but you wonder, if McCrimmon was kicking those tires. I think there were some reports suggesting he was at least kicking the tires on Marchand. This might have been a much different playoff if that would have happened. I mean, I think Marchand, first of all, he's the type that fits in any locker room, any circumstance, any situation. Obviously, a team that's competing for a Stanley Cup is where he needs to be. And having that additional difference maker, which is why this show started off with Marner or bust, the Golden Knights really have one difference maker right now, and that's Jack Eichel. And Eichel is very good. Is he going to be the every night difference maker? That's not who he is. That is not. He's a 100-point player, primarily made up of assists, and that nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Dorofeev might become that difference maker. Too. Marner will have a ton of assists.
We have to see if he has a good second season.
Dorofeev, good second season. That's weird. 100%. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. It could have been a flash in the pan. I hope not. I don't think
VGK is going to give him an 8-year contract like they did with someone else here.
I mean, make him at least wait a little bit before that happens, but yeah.
I'm going to say, okay, let's do our keys here. Let's do our locks and predictions real fast. Okay. I like I'm going to go 5-4 Edmonton. I think this series goes back home there for the Oilers. I'm going to go Kane and Draisaitl, the goal scorers, 5-4 the final.
2-1 Oilers, McDavid, both goals. Both goalies play for the Oilers, Skinner and Pickard. Something weird's going to happen. And they get a combined shutout. There you go.
We'll have to keep an eye on who scores first. That's been a pivotal key in this series. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers around the world on this edition of Marner or Bust. Every day it's Marner news. Again, don't forget, subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. From my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again after game number 6 right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Please take care.